Hello friends, good afternoon. I hope you will be having a nice day. So today in this video, what I am going to talk to you is about the Buddhism and its ideology and how it can be used in a practical day-to-day life, so that you will have a very calm, stoic as well as a tension-free life. So this is a topic that I want you to understand, that how you can use Buddhism in your practical life also. So first of all, just let me introduce to you on Buddhism and let me give you a brief idea on what Buddha's ideology was. So first of all, you have to understand that Buddha, he was born as a Kshatriya prince, and at the same time, like, his father wanted to make sure that my son will get all the riches that a prince can afford or a king can afford, because it was said by his court Jyotishas, either this boy is going to become a great religious saint or a preacher, or he is going to become a great king. So obviously, as a father, he never wanted his son to become a religious saint or a sadhu. So he wanted his son to become a great king. So his father felt that if you put the son through certain difficulties, he may turn more into religion. So his father made sure that this boy have everything, right, all the riches that a man can enjoy, and he was also married at a young age. But since he was having all these kind of riches in his life, at some point of time Buddha felt an emptiness. Maybe he went through a depression. While he was having a hunting parade and while he was going back in chariot, he saw a man, a dying man. So he's asking to his charioteer, right, oh, there are things like this, death and suffering. So will I also grow old? So one day I will also die. Then what is the point of enjoying all these riches if at one point of time everybody is going to die? So what is the meaning of life? So he began to think. That is the time, at the age of 29, he is leaving his wife, he is leaving his child, and he is going out on a horse, and then he is trying to understand the meaning of life. So initially he took refuge, or he took a discipleship under a monk called Alara Kalma. So what he was doing was very similar to the Jain monks who were doing sadhanas at that time, through extreme penance. I mean, Jainism is more about extreme. Through extreme penance and fasting, they are fasting till death. So that is the way they attain. They feel like the life is like this, so it's better to die. So that is the kind of an ideology that used to happen at that time. Whenever the ascetics were roaming around, they were used to make more sufferings within them. But Buddha was not satisfied in it. So at one point of time, he began to meditate under a Bodhi tree, banyan tree. So when the meditation reached at its peak, it seems like he is about to die, like its entire bones are coming out, like even the nerves are about to burst. At that point of time, maybe at a time when his prana is about to leave him, like Sujata, a farmer's daughter, give him a glass of milk. So once he have the milk, it seems like he has a vision. The vision is this: if you have a veena, if the strings are either too tight or even strings are too less tight, you will not get the right music. The strings should have a moderate tightness. That means it's a path of moderation that is well. That's what he thought, and he came to understand that you should not try both extremes. You should have a moderate view in life. But many people may misunderstand is like it's a middle path means doing something in half. No, it means doing something moderately. That means imagine you are preparing for an examination. If you study 17 hours, 18 hours every day, within 1 week you will be worn down. You will get some disease. You will fall ill. You will miss the main exam. You will miss the whole glory. So if you say study 6 hours or 7 hours continuously, right, that is a moderate way. You will be able to sustain better and you may win the exam. So that is what Buddhism is about. It's a path of moderation. So middle path means it's a path of moderation. Now when it comes to the core ideology, so Buddha focused on Arya Satyas. First of all, Arya means noble. So Arya Satyas, 4 noble truths, right? So he was feeling like the world is all about suffering. So yes, if the world and the life is about suffering, what is the cause of this suffering? So it's very well, the cause is desire. And you can annihilate the desire. This can be annihilated by how? By following the eightfold paths. So this eightfold path, if you put it in the form of a wheel, right? If you put it in the form of a wheel, you remember Ashoka Chakra, or the wheel, the turning the wheel of law. It has its significance from Buddhism. So if you look in the eightfold path, I am not mentioning an entire eightfold, you see the word right action, right thought, right meditation, right exertion. So similarly, you see the word right. That means everything in the right manner. That is everything in the moderate manner. So you don't have to do lot of sadhanas and lot of things, and you don't have to starve to death. But if you do things in the right manner and in such a way, you have to annihilate the desire, you attain salvation or peace of mind within the earth. So the question comes is like, what do you mean by annihilating the desire? This is where Buddhism has to be really understood in the correct manner. You have to annihilate desire on things that are worldly. That means you should not get attached to things. For example, if you are attached to money, if you are attached to some power, even if imagine you in a time when you become the chief minister or prime minister or IAS officer, IPS officer, if you get more attached to that particular power, once you lose it, you will suffer, right? Because you will not win for all the time. You will have ups and downs in life. So you have to desire for success or victory or everything, but you should not get attached to it. You should live life in such a way that even if it is not there, even if my wife or my kids or my husband or wife is not with me, I will all go forward. I do help others without expecting anything in return, without getting attached to it, in a very detached, calm manner. So this is what Buddha had mentioned by annihilation of desire. That means in a way of getting detached from it. This is the same ideology you find in Bhagavad Gita as well. That is why, according to me, Buddha was considered as an avatar of Vishnu by Vaishnavates in many ways, because this very similar ideology you see in Nishkama Karma when it comes to in Bhagavad Gita. That means you do your job well. Be at the present, be at the moment, live at the moment, do your job well, and without getting attached to the result of it. Because if you get attached with the result, you will always suffer, you will always be more tensed, and even if you fail, you will be more depressed. So whenever you do certain job, whenever you do certain things in life, you have to understand one thing, that giving 100% from your side is in your hand, but the result and the success is not in your hand, right? So success, if you are getting attached to success, if you are getting attached to the result, you will always suffer. So you have to understand that the world is like a closed system. Do your 100% and the result will come in one way or another, maybe in a way that you may not think about. So this is one ideology that you can say Buddhism has contributed well. And don't think that this is the ideology is only there in Buddhism or in Bhagavad Gita. Even in the Western philosophies like Stoic philosophy of Seneca of Greece, right, you find the similar thing. And even in the philosophy of the karma, or in the philosophies of Bhagavad Gita also, you find the similar thing, where you do your job in a religious manner, right, and you do your karma in a religious manner, in a nishkama karma, without getting attached to the result, without getting attached to even certain people or with the success. You will always have peace of mind, because ultimately everything is going to end in 6 feet under the earth. So if you understand that thing, you will be more calm, you will be more composed, and this is one ideology Buddha has contributed, because the first thing it comes from Buddhism, then only we find these ideologies in many other parts, in many other ways. So this is what I want you to wanted to point out to you on Buddhism, and how its ideology can be very practically used whenever you find people getting depressed on their failures, or people getting depressed on their life. This is one thing that they can really think about, and this wisdom can save them and also make them 100% best in whatever things they do. So that's all I wanted to tell in this video on Buddhism. Stay tuned for more videos and try to subscribe the channel, click the bell icon so that you do not miss any videos. Thank you all.